Chapter 5. Start at the beginning. "In the cupboard," said Not-Sheba. "He can't undo the latch." In went Not-Sheba first, followed by Charlie and then Frank. The three of them stood close together in the dark. The smell coming from Charlie was terrible. He smelt like something that had been lying under a stone which had been lying under a dog for many, many years. The sound of this Mr. Butcher person in the suit of armour was getting closer. Crunk, clonk, thud, crunk, crunk, clonk. "How do you know him? Is he on show here too?" said Frank. "Oh, we don't just know him," said Not-Sheba. He's part of the furniture. He's there, here, there and everywhere." It wasn't an answer to his question, but Frank was learning that there were going to be many more questions than answers just now. "This will make a great scene in the movie," said Charlie. "You could have a completely dark screen with just us whispering." "I'm not whispering," said Not-Sheba. "Who have you got in mind for the cameraman?" said Charlie. Frank felt helpless. Well, he was helpless. Stuck in a cupboard with an ancient Egyptian mummy, an old-fashioned girl who had taken his worksheet off him, and a knight in armour cronking and crunking outside. "I know you're in there," said the knight. "Yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it, is there?" said Not-Sheba, "because you've got those stupid metal gloves on. Come out, out you come, and get back to where you belong." "Never," said Not-Sheba. "I'm on my way to finding out my real name. I'm not going back to where you say I belong. I'm going back to where I say I belong." "And I'm going to be a star," shouted Charlie. Frank couldn't think what he was doing, so he said, and I'm in the cupboard," which everyone knew anyway. "Yes," said the knight, "and what are you doing in there, Frank? "How does he know your name?" said Not-Sheba. "He's my head teacher." "Your head teacher? Him? He's not your head teacher." "I know he's not dressed like my head teacher, but I'm pretty sure it is him. Now, shh, I'd better talk to him." I'm doing my worksheet, sir," said Frank. "In a cupboard?" Yes, sir, they're helping me. I'm working on the questions about the..." "Quick, Not-Sheba, pass me the worksheet." "Well, there's not much point in passing it to you. You won't be able to read it in the dark," Not-Sheba said. "What question am I doing, though?" said Frank. "I don't know," she said. "I haven't read it." "Well," said Mr. Butcher, "what question are you working on?" "I'm working on the question about, "The mummy," whispered Not-Sheba. The mummy," said Frank. "I would agree to appear on chat shows and breakfast television," said Charlie. "Good," said Mr. Butcher. "Make sure you get your facts right, sonny, and make sure you start at the very beginning." "Well, he wouldn't start at the end, would he?" said Not-Sheba, "because that wouldn't be the beginning, would it? Mind you, wherever you start is the beginning, isn't it? Or are you too stupid to understand that?" Frank was shocked she was talking to Mr. Butcher like that, especially as he had a sword in his hand. If it was Mr. Butcher. Mr. Butcher started growling. "If I get my hands on you, my girl, there'll be trouble. You'll be back on that picture quicker than it takes to write your name." "How does he know Not-Sheba?" thought Frank. "How does Not-Sheba know Mr. Butcher?" Frank had a feeling he didn't know anything about anything. "Oh, jump in the lake and get your bum rusty," said Not-Sheba. That wasn't me that said that, sir," said Frank. Oh, well, if it wasn't you, Frank, then, who was it?" said Mr. Butcher. Frank felt helpless again. Not-Sheba giggled. "It'll all go down on your report, son, I can tell you," said Mr. Butcher. There was a bit more crunking. Crunk, crunk, cronk, thud, and they heard Mr. Butcher's armour footsteps pacing off. Not-Sheba opened the door. They were in a corridor. "Look," said Frank, I really can't hang about here with you two anymore. It's been, look, really nice being with you, and thanks for... Not-Sheba grabbed Frank from one side, Charlie from the other. Not so fast, said Charlie in an American voice. You try and cross the state line, I'll call the bureau. Just zip your lips, Smiler. That's right, said Not-Sheba, enjoying all this. You're going to help me, or I'll eat your worksheet. Okay, said Frank, and he tried thinking fast about how he could help all three of them. The two of them and himself all at the same time. He tried thinking fast, but nothing happened. So he went back to thinking slowly. I've got it, he said. We need to start at the beginning, don't we? Oh, aren't you a clever boy, said Not-Sheba. We've just had to put up with all that sort of garbage from old Rusty Bum. No, I didn't mean that, said Frank. The beginning of this place. The Chiltern, finding out where you came from, how you got here. We've got to get back to the beginning. How it got to be here. And thinking to himself, and then I can get the stuff I need to answer the questions, yeah. Charlie interrupted in a Cockney gangster voice. Oh, yeah? Right, yeah. And what's my cut of this job, John? Hey? Are you fellas planning to leave me in the cold while I dig my cabbages? Right, said Frank. What we need to do is find good locations, said Charlie. Now we're beginning to get a bit of energy flowing on this project. Good locations speak to you. They tell you good shots, good angles. A good location is a story in itself. This is cinema, he said, and held out his hand like someone being interviewed, coming up with a great thought. This is cinema. Not-Sheba and Charlie were no longer gripping Frank. So what we need to do now, said Frank, is find the oldest part of this place. The oldest part will be the beginning part. And ancient voices will speak to us, said Charlie. He is very difficult, thought Frank. And when we get there, said Frank, talking as slowly as he thought, we ask a few questions. Do you two know where we go? The chapel, said Not-Sheba. My mummy case, said Charlie. Let's try the chapel, said Frank, feeling sick at the thought of being stuck inside Charlie's mummy case for more than 1.5 seconds. But Charlie wasn't listening. The word old, ka-chung, had obviously gripped him, or perhaps it was the word chapel, and Charlie would soon be thinking of one of those Shakespeare films they'd had to see a few months ago. Frank was right. In a moment, Charlie was strutting about, as if he was on stage and reciting, "Methinks 'tis good we sally forth so bright and early on St. Patrick's Day." It's not St. Patrick's Day, is it? Said Frank. Herein do I imitate the sun who doth allow the... Cut it, said Charlie, interrupting his flow of words. Learn your lines, damn it. Learn your lines, Charlie. Break for lunch. Maybe you're an ancient Egyptian, said Frank to Not-Sheba. Let's go to the chapel, said Not-Sheba. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the story about Frank's adventures at the stately home. Maybe the next time you visit a museum or stately home, you'll be able to look at the objects on display there and wonder where they came from and what their story is. You might want to write your own story inspired by them. Frank also appears in You're Thinking About Doughnuts, which you can find here on Kids Poems and Stories with Michael Rosen. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Just click on the bell to keep updated with all the latest vids that we post here.